Welcome back to another exciting episode of Game Week 39. My name is Katuchoroshon Matidza, and you know I'm never alone. I'm with my co-host, Mario Ramakanya. Welcome back, bro.
What's happening, Game Week 39 world? We are back with another one, and I am excited about this one, of course.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting at the winners' table, and my boy
I wonder.
over here sitting with the red tears in his eyes.
How was the international break? Maybe let's start there. How was the international break?
The international break was okay. It's always boring, of course, because, you know, it's the first 3 game weeks, and then it's the international break. We're just getting warmed up, used to the league being back, and then they pull it away. It's like they sell you a drug and then they take it away. So it's kind of like the withdrawals, but I think not too bad because it felt like it went by quite quick actually. And there was Bafana Afana, so we're supporting the boys. Shout out to them, 4 points in the AFCON qualifier.
Yeah,
should have been the boys. Should have been 6, but yeah, no, we take it on the chin and then we move on, my friend.
You know what it is. But yeah, welcome back to another exciting episode. We have an exciting show ahead. Some headlines that you can look forward to. We're gonna talk about some of the things that I believe, or rather some of the reasons why Mario here is smiling. You know, Liverpool's performance this past game week, and then we're also going to touch on the Salah captainers versus the Haaland captainers, the misses and the hits there.
Treats me right. It serves me right for trusting a Liverpool player.
And then we're also going to look at, Watkins, coming back to score a double after a lot of us shipped him out, including myself. And Isak, he blundered. Should I say? And then London is red. Can we say that? London is red.
No, London is red. 20 years without a title.
No, man. I mean, obviously, given
how old are you 20 years ago?
In the context of what happened this past
how many years without a Champions League? The Champions League has been there for 50 something years. No, Nottingham Forest has won it twice and beat Liverpool for the first time in 55 years. And yeah, Arsenal haven't won a Champions League.
But that is what to look. That's what you guys can look forward to in this episode. But yeah, Mario, let's start with the results. I think the first one is going to excite a few of our Man United fans here. Southampton, losing 3-0 to Man United. I don't know your thoughts on that game. Do you think it was, vintage Man United? Or what do you want to call it?
Was it trying to roll back the clock, roll back the years there. Yeah. We got 1 or 2 United fans that are our technical support. Yeah. And I did promise to give them their flowers today. Yeah. So, no, United did play well. A couple of guys were saying, no, they want to bet against United, at the Betway and the Hollywood. But then,
and I'm sure the odds were high. You're gonna get a good cash out.
Exactly. So I was all about it. I was like, double chance Southampton was gonna win or is going to draw. But hey, United rolling back the years, like you said. Rashford in on the goals. De Ligt on debut.
I was about to say 15 points.
Scoring, making the team of the week with 15 points, and then Garnacho.
My boy,
who apparently was dropped, or the suspicions were that he was dropped because he liked the post of Cristiano Ronaldo commenting on Ten Hag, not knowing the traditions and values of Manchester United and not being a winner in so many words. Yeah. So and obviously Ten Hag said that he didn't drop Garnacho because of that. It was more of a tactical decision. And if that was the case, it paid out.
It paid off.
Because he came on super sub, scored a goal.
Exactly.
And the team performed, clean sheet.
I'm sure Man United fans are happy.
Living in seventh heaven.
I for one, as I said, I possess Garnacho on my team, so I was quite happy. That was a good start for me to this game week. And little did I know that it's only going to get better. But Brighton versus Ipswich, I think that one, you remember, I think the past game week we were talking about pulling the trigger on wild cards.
Hey,
I think both of us were playing mind games.
I nearly
because
did.
you didn't pull the trigger on yours. I also
didn't. The thing was,
Haaland
is uncle or he's one of his father's friends and one of his close relatives or family friends growing up, who he considered an uncle, passed away over the international
Yes,
break.
no wonder the triangle that said personal reasons.
So Haaland, I assumed, might miss the game in grief.
Yeah.
But I think he decided to go and mess up my FPL in honor of his late uncle. May he so rest in peace.
Before we move on to Haaland, Brighton Ipswich 0-0. I was bringing the wild card conversation in because I didn't play the wild card. I decided to take a -8, meaning that I made 8 transfers. I got rid of Guardiola at the back and I brought in Dunk because I was quite convinced that Ipswich was not gonna score. But I don't think. I also brought in João Pedro. I didn't think João Pedro, one, would not play, but two, that Ipswich would hold Brighton. Your thoughts on this game? 0-0.
Yeah, João Pedro didn't play, of course, came back late from international break, little niggle, so they decided to save him. Of course, he's been one of the most instrumental players in that Brighton side, so they don't want to risk anything. I think it affected the team in terms of the way they play. Didn't seem like the Brighton that I had seen over the last 3 games. The international break has a funny way of doing that.
It really did.
Of cooling down players.
Look at it. United comes back strong.
United comes back. It's like United took Brighton's form and gave Brighton their form.
Yeah.
No, but they didn't because United couldn't even finish a draw. But they gave them. Brighton came back with lesser form. United went hyperbolic chamber. Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan came back, went ham on Southampton.
Speaking of the curses of international break for teams that have been on form, we touch on my team, Liverpool. I mean, it was records were broken for the wrong reasons, depending on where you're standing.
Of course.
But I mean, we just didn't really seem to have an answer to breaking. I would say, the Notting defense. I mean, Nuno, we know, is a very, very talented coach. He's been in the Premier League with Wolves and also with Tottenham. But regardless, I mean, the 3 win back-to-back, no goals conceded, and a Salah who's just looking like he's here to make a statement, but, failing to score. I don't know your thoughts.
Story of my life, my friend. Story of my life. I mean, what can I say? I was rooting for Liverpool. I was like, hey.
I'm sure your bet slip was also in Liverpool.
Let's go Liverpool. I nearly even bought a mug in solidarity. But then they made me look like a mug. So when I captained Salah. I mean, 41 points, first 3 game weeks, tied with Haaland for that record. I think Haaland goes solo now. What is he on? 54 points, 4 game weeks. I mean, the man is scoring at a ridiculous rate. We're talking about 13.5 points per game week.
But what does that? What do managers do? I mean, as I said, I was one of the managers that brought in Salah this past game week. I shied away from taking a wild card, triggering a wild card. I took a minus instead. But in the long term, should managers be regretting bringing in the likes of Alisson if they did bring him at the back? Should they be concerned about bringing the likes of Salah or Diaz if they were also one of the many thousands of managers that decided to bring in the Liverpool assets, given the fact that they were looking and seeing this Liverpool team that just seems as if it's going to be challenging this season?
No, I don't think so. Of course, you saw the Nottingham Forest fixture, you saw the Bournemouth fixture following that, you saw Salah's form, you saw Diaz's form.
Yeah.
Of course, there were a lot of indicators pointing in the direction. Liverpool keeping 3 consecutive clean sheets.
Yep.
I mean, betting on a Liverpool player was as good as gold. But yeah, like you said last week, we won't see the real Liverpool until Arne Slot suffers a loss.
No, that is true.
And we see how they come back, how they respond from that. So they play AC Milan tonight. We'll see how they respond. Hopefully they don't pick up any injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah, Salah looked a shell of himself, a shell of what I'd been seeing the past 3 game weeks. But I don't think it's discouraging. I think he has the best fixture coming up in Bournemouth. Ireland plays a difficult Arsenal side, a stubborn defense. So I think it wouldn't be a bad thing, especially for the immediate future.
Yeah.
And also going forward, I think they have decent fixtures. they have 1 or 2 difficult ones between now and game week 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's so one difficult fixture in there, and then they have 4 good fixtures, maybe 3.
Yep.
So I think it just holds. I wouldn't sell if I had the assets. Just hold and then watch Arne Slot this bounce back. Let's see if he can bounce back.
I hope so. And then lastly, the last fixture that we're going to review, Bournemouth Chelsea. I didn't get to watch the game, but I do know that I think Nkunku is the one who scored there with an assist.
From Sancho,
from Jadon Sancho, who got man of the match.
A.K.A. Eden Hazard Jr. I'm telling you,
look at the excitement, the premature excitement.
The way Sancho looked.
That's the first game he played.
The way Sancho looked on that left-hand side. Winning, like, if you remember Hazard nicely now.
Yeah.
No defender could defend Hazard one-on-one. It was impossible. That was suicide.
Yeah.
He will beat his man every single time.
Yeah.
You had to double him. Similar to Salah. You can't defend Salah one-on-one most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless he's having an off game. If you get Salah hot one-on-one, there's no way you're holding that man. He's gonna put you down and he's on to the next one.
So the promise that you're seeing in Jadon Sancho, that's
I'm not saying it's going to be Eden Hazard, but I'm saying what I saw against Bournemouth. He's 1v1. Beat his man every time.
Yeah.
Beat his man every time. He looked comfortable, skillful, like leaving that guy one-on-one with your right back is a problem. And I think the more he does this, the more managers will pick up on the fact that they need to double up on him, which will open up space for Palmer, Nkunku, Madueke, Jackson.
I was about to say that given that now you guys are going to be playing West Ham as the next fixture and you're going to be away from home, I think it will also be a good test for, just to see Sancho and a consistency. I mean, playing as consistently as he does when he's at Dortmund in comparison to...
what those numbers look like. Very quite impressive when he does get into the team. He's consistent. So he might be a very good FPL asset going into the future.
Do you know what's his market price?
If I checked, it's not 6.5 million.
Okay, so it's quite decent. It's quite a decent entry point.
Not too bad. He's sitting there.
Options
with the
for managers.
Of Nkunku as well.
Yeah.
So if he's in that bracket for the Chelsea between him, Nkunku, Madueke.
I'll give Chelsea a few more games before I jump on those assets. But
definitely. You saw the upcoming fixtures. I mean, Chelsea have good upcoming fixtures, but I mean, I love Chelsea, but I wouldn't jump on them immediately. With Everton having the fixtures they have, I know Everton have been horrible. They're currently competing for the title of the worst team in football, of Mario's worst team in football.
Yeah.
They're sitting there minus 13 goals conceded in the last 4 fixtures, and they've conceded and they've lost 2-0 leads.
Correct. Again, recently with Aston Villa.
Games. So, I mean, they're competing. Them and what's the other team they got? Southampton are really competing for the worst team.
All right. So now we revisit, the green or red arrows or neutrals. We haven't really dwelt on this a lot, given the fact that the season just started. So maybe let's start from your side. Any green arrows,
red
arrows?
Like, I'm opening my
overall
FPL,
ranking. Has it gone up? Has it gone down?
My brother, this is the weirdest thing. Unless I'm sitting on some network that's not working.
Yeah.
How do I score 38 points? The world average is 51.
Yeah.
But then I haven't fallen in South Africa in some Super Sport League.
Probably it's a network issue. It's probably a network issue.
There's no way, right?
No. I think that's way too far from the average.
It is way like.
But we know
about 13 points.
But we know the reason, and we shall touch on that a bit later.
Haaland again. I mean.
But on the contrary, when I'm looking at my colors, I'm quite happy. It brings a lot of smile on my face because it's all greens. It's all greens, and so far so good. Things are going well. I do tend to have a very good start mid-season. Things have seemed a bit shaky, but I do also seem to come back and have a good ending. So I'm hoping to be a bit more consistent this side. I tend to use a barometer of at least 3 green arrows overall ranking, back to back, and then probably a dip, and then more green arrows as a normal consistency.
So a green arrow.
It's been a rough start for you, but we know your problems. And speaking of that, I mean, I managed to score 79 points, having captained Haaland, who returned for myself and most of other managers 26 points. On your side, we spoke about the 38 points that you scored. You captained Salah, who gave you 4 points. The first thing that came into mind when I looked at your team when the kickoff started, I thought to myself, probably Mario forgot to change his team. That was the first thing that came into mind. Yeah, because I was so convinced from the last show that we had that you're going to get Haaland after what he has done. 2 back-to-back hat-tricks. Yeah. And then he goes and scores a brace.
Is this you just rubbing the salt into the wound?
I'm asking myself, my friend, what is going on?
You're like,
what is this voodoo magic?
I'm sure this guy forgot to change his team. Wow. Like, I would make such a rookie mistake. Like, my guy.
Very early in game week 4. What's going on?
Hey, I'm trying to think of an analogy.
There's nothing.
For this. When a fly flies into the window, the kid's going to eventually come out. That is me not buying Haaland. I'm thinking, eventually, surely Haaland has to step a foot wrong. And our listeners will know from the moment Haaland stepped into this league, I've been his biggest supporter. The android, the machine, the Terminator, John Wick. I've given him every known nickname of a dangerous man known to man. I mean, Rambo.
Everything.
Yet, I thought I could get away with not having him for the first 6 game weeks. That was my thought. I thought they play Chelsea, they play Arsenal, they play Newcastle in the first 6 game weeks. And I thought that was going to be difficult. Brentford as well, thrown in the mix. I didn't think Haaland was going to score 9 out of City's 11 goals. Like, I thought maybe, De Bruyne, where are you? I mean, Foden, come on. I thought some of you guys would chip in. I had Foden. I had De Bruyne.
7 points, 17 points, 17 points, 13 points.
You're just saying this depresses me.
And you know what is quite shocking, and I don't think this is only shocking to me. Yeah. There've been some other managers that are also, asking what's going on, because all these managers, we all look at each other's teams. They ask what is going on.
And they used to be me being dominant, and usually I am, but I made a mistake and I'm being stubborn and I want to hold on.
And on top of being stubborn, I don't understand. Last week, I reacted to not having Salah. I thought I could go the season without Salah. That's the reason why I never had Salah. But when I see Salah performing the way that he was, I'm prepared to take a -8 to bring in Salah.
A -8?
Yeah. I took a -8 to bring in Salah.
Hey, yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe
I should have taken a -3 weeks ago when the league first started. I should have taken a minus, even though it's not possible for Haaland. I could have taken a minus, started with a -8 and still made it up. But hey, my friend, it's one of those decisions where you think it's gonna turn. It's gonna turn, and it's gonna turn, and eventually they'll be disappointed. I thought it started now after the international game week, but.
And again, you would not. Oh yeah, you're right. That probably the form has dipped, or now rather going into this game week, you could hope that the form has dipped.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping it doesn't score. As much as I hate Arsenal, and you know how much I hate Arsenal. As much as I hate Arsenal, I really do hope he doesn't score a hat-trick against
We'll speak
Arsenal.
of this Arsenal team, but while we're on Arsenal, moving on to the standout players, it was quite a good game week for defenders because Gabriel scored 15 points. He jointly, for the first time, I think for the very first time in the history of this pod, you know, we've had records, but for the first time in the history of this pod, we've never had 3 King of the Game weeks. Yes, on the platform, they might not all be voted at the same time, but we know that they all scored the same points. I don't know how they break that evenness, if that's the correct English word.
The tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker, sorry, that's the one.
Decide who the King of the Game week is.
But Gabriel scored 15, having scored a goal and kept a clean sheet. De Ligt scored 15, having scored a goal and kept a clean sheet. Sanchez scored 15, having saved a penalty and kept a clean sheet. So all 3 of them, but they voted Sanchez as
Sanchez, my hero. Yeah. The only reason I got my dismal 38 points is because of Sanchez and his penalty save.
You could have been sitting on, 23? Had it not been for, could have been 23.
If you consider, because the way that game was going, I didn't have any faith in Chelsea keeping a clean sheet, first of all, and winning the game, second of all. But then we turned it on the last 25 minutes, and we showed class, we showed resilience. So the team showed the backbone I haven't seen in them for a while. And I like I like players. I'm seeing players that I like and that I think are mature and that they can fight for the club, for the badge. So I'm hoping this season is a better season. I'm hoping we can continue this winning. Hopefully we can steal another 3 points at the Olympic Stadium.
We shall see. But Sanchez valued at 4.5 million. That's a bargain for a lot of managers. I mean, I have Flecken. I feel like having a Sanchez would actually do me good. He's owned by 5.2% of managers. And speaking of De Ligt, who also scored 15 points, his market value is 5 million. His ownership is even lower than Sanchez, 3.9%. And then Gabriel on the other side. Exactly, definitely differential right there. And then Gabriel, 6.0 million. That's a lot of money, but it's good value for money because we know the strength that Arsenal has in that in their defense, and also the attacking threats that he brings with set pieces, and we know that Arsenal were very strong with set pieces last season. And they still seem to
not pick up 3-4 goals last season?
Exactly.
Like if I was gonna go into and buy any Arsenal defender, obviously their games get better after game week 6, along with Manchester City. That's when I was obviously timing my wild card for when for the teams that are big and consistent for their turn of fixtures. So
very great fixtures, as you said. Maybe we can just remind managers. After the Manchester City game is Leicester City, Southampton and Bournemouth.
Imagine.
Those are guaranteed clean sheets.
That's where I was looking to target right after this. That's what I was hoping, that Haaland would at least control himself. Control yourself.
He cannot. How do you control an Android?
In the Premier League, except for Manchester City.
He scores goals for a living.
This is
fun.
not FIFA, my guy. So I was targeting for after game week 5, actually going to game week 6. I think I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and go ahead with it. Like, I'm suffering because Haaland is the most owned player.
It does. His number just grew like incredibly.
So it's a lose-lose for me. The longer I don't have him, but obviously I'm gonna try and slide by this game week, one more game week without Haaland.
Good luck to you, my friend. I want us to move on to a segment which is quite popular on our platform. The buy, sell, keep, avoid segment. We haven't had it in a while. I think it's probably been a lot of episodes since the last season. But I've shortlisted a few players here. I think a lot of managers are also probably, thinking who should they be bringing in, who should they be dropping, where should they probably reinvest their funds. But let's start with Isak. As I said earlier in the intro that he blanked this past game week. I had Isak, I had Haaland, I had Watkins. Watkins dropped in price after a dismal performance the game before. And when I decided to go for this -8, I got rid of Watkins. I brought in João Pedro. And Watkins goes on to score a brace. And had you watched that game, he could have actually scored a hat-trick or more.
But then that's been Watkins, I think, for the last 4 game weeks. He's had very good opportunity.
Yeah.
That one, that Raya, ridiculous save by Raya off the line. And I think he had another opportunity to sink Arsenal in that game as well.
Yes, he did. With the double save from Sanchez.
The double save from Raya.
It's from Raya, yes.
So, and Raya got 10 points in that game, if I'm not mistaken. Bonus points as well. So, I mean, the signs were there. The signs were there. And finally, he's paid off the managers who decided to be loyal.
Yeah.
And like you, Captain.
I had to patch a hole. I had to patch the Salah hole. I had to make a decision.
But I mean, it's better than keeping Isak. Eh? I know Isak. You know, when you said Isak, I just looked down. I was like,
so
it's like when someone names that ex that you once dated and you don't want anyone to remember that you even dated that. That's not how I feel about Isak. It's that player in my team that I don't want people to remind me that he's still inside my team.
You're not the only one, Mario. So you are currently
Newcastle is unbeaten.
On the same boat with 38.4% of managers that are still holding on to him, right? And we see that one of the most transferred out players this game week, he is leading that line with over 291,000 managers that have already shipped him out. So here's the question. What should managers do? Buy, sell, keep, or avoid?
Sell.
It's time to get rid of him.
Sell on special. Sell, buy one.
So basically you're saying even if they've taken a loss and the sell price has dropped.
I mean, if it was even sitting on 8.2 million, I'm selling it. I mean, sell him like it's Black Friday for me.
And then what about Watkins? You were speaking earlier about Watkins and, you know, Watkins being Watkins. We know that he came back from the Euros. He seemed as if he was a bit off, but we're seeing the Watkins that we're investing in myself. The first 3 games,
also
he was the one that I wanted. What do we do with Watkins?
I think another thing that concerned a lot of managers was his early substitutions.
Yeah, exactly. Was not playing 90 minutes.
I think the reason for that is obviously Aston Villa are back in the Champions League. So
that has always been the biggest question mark for a lot of managers, that the game time.
Yeah, so now they're back in the Champions League, and of course, more games for Villa.
Yeah.
Adding the Champions League to the EFL Cup.
Yeah.
The FA Cup, and now the Premier League. So there are going to be a lot of games. But while we're still on Aston Villa, I mean, John Duran.
Did you see that winning goal?
I mean, I'm kind of asking myself, why didn't Chelsea buy that guy now?
Yeah. From where? Where did he come from?
No, he was at Aston Villa. He was about to go to Chelsea. People started complaining. Okay. Why do you guys want to pay 40 million for John Duran? I think he had scored 1 goal against Manchester City sometime last season.
Yeah.
I remember the goal when they almost beat City. And I was also asking myself, it's like this Omoredian guy from Atletico Madrid. I was like, who's this guy? Who's this nigga? Why are you about to spend 40 bar on some guy that I saw only score a goal against Man City? But I mean, the last 3, he's been saving Aston Villa. Like, really. So the last 3 game weeks, I think it's good. There's 3 on the trot now, if I'm not mistaken. And the last one.
And he's on a lot of pundits' watch list if they don't have him. Or rather, a lot of managers' watch list.
And then Unai Emery comes out and says 40 teams put in offers to buy John Duran. 40. I don't even believe it. Can you even name 40 teams? Can that guy even name 40 teams? So I'm not buying it.
So without digressing,
what a strike.
He is the reason why we're skeptical about Watkins.
Because they have another option.
Because they have an alternative option. And also, as you said, the lack of 90 minutes in the past few games has been the problem. So what do managers do? Buy, sell, keep, or avoid?
This is for Watkins.
This is for Watkins, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was checking his fixtures. Aston Villa play Wolves, Ipswich. Man United is a buy. Fulham, Bournemouth. Hey, these are some good fixtures.
What do we do? Buy, sell, keep, or
have me out buy. Especially when
if you don't, and if you have him already, you keep him.
You keep him because I mean, if you have Isak, unless you wanna bring in but I would monitor. If I have him, I'd keep him.
Yeah.
I would monitor or keep him, not buy him right now. He plays Wolves, and looking at the numbers for Wolves versus Aston Villa. Thank you, Fantasy Football Hub. 35% clean sheet odds for Aston Villa in that game. The highest clean sheet odds, according to Fantasy Football Hub for that game week.
We need to wrap this up. If you don't have, you buy. If you have him, you keep him. I was one of the managers that sold him last game week, and I sold him because I cannot afford to patch that Liverpool hole that I had and also keep 3 premium forwards.
Yeah, no, of course you can't. So there's that pivot where do you go for Diaz instead of Salah and make that sacrifice? Or do you go for Salah and then obviously and keep Haaland and compromise other areas? Because I think now, if we're looking at it, Haaland is probably the must-have, especially, man, I mean, look at the fixtures going after
this City.
Game week for City.
Yeah.
I don't have them right in front of me, but
I can just read them out quickly. They have Arsenal, they have Newcastle. Those the first is
after those 2 fixtures, my friend. I mean, have you ever seen a spatchcock chicken?
Yeah.
I always get messed up. Have you ever seen a spatchcock chicken?
Yeah.
Spatchcock chicken. Have you ever seen one of those, my friend? That's what the fixture looks
So Watkins, like it's a buy and it's a keep if you have him.
Yeah.
I have one more player, James Vardy. I spoke about Jamie Vardy, and you bursted in laughter. I remember.
I burst in laughter.
You're like, he's old. This guy, we're still dealing with the Jamie Vardy. The Jamie Vardy that we needed is the one before.
Eagle celebration at Palace. Jamie Vardy.
So now Jamie Vardy
telling Tottenham he's got a league title and they've got 0. Jamie Vardy, I would never hate on that guy.
Vardy is sitting on 4th position as one of the most transferred in players, right?
And
with the form of 4.8 currently.
As he should.
Right?
The fixtures are just beautiful for Leicester.
Leicester haven't won, by the way. They have 2 draws and 2 losses. But Vardy has managed to score 8 points in the 2 fixtures that they've drawn. Yes, they have Everton. I think it's a very good fixture.
I just said,
you literally just
13 goals in 4 games.
They're the worst, one of the worst contending teams.
Currently the worst team in football.
And they've Arsenal, that's an exception, but they've Bournemouth after that.
Bournemouth, Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Ipswich.
What do managers do? Buy, sell, keep, or avoid?
I mean, Jamie Vardy. And what is he, 5 points?
And I mean, we have the problem with Isak. Is he possibly the best suitable player to bring in?
I think Isak, because it depends on what you want to do with your midfield.
Yeah.
That there's a combination, I think, goes in here.
Yeah.
For the upcoming fixtures, you could have Jamie Vardy, Haaland, Salah, and be comfortable knowing that those 3 will always play.
Yeah.
And then you can use the rest of if you're wild carding, you can use the rest of your budget to fill out your midfield. Or you go for Diaz, Watkins, Haaland, and then you've used the remainder to fill out your midfield. So I think I would bring him in.
So it's a buy if you don't have him.
If depending on what your strategy is, how you view that Liverpool side. If you think Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah are comparable, because obviously Haaland has no comparison in Man City in terms of scoring points. So he's a must-have, especially with the fixtures City have. He's like locked in, ball and chain. I got married yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, so, it's a buy.
Okay.
Depending on the strategy.
Okay.
But I would put one guy in there as well, Dominic Solanke.
Okay.
For you. Buy, keep, sell, avoid. Look.
Dominic Solanke, I didn't do my
Everton.
homework on him.
Everton play. Yes. Leicester, Crystal Palace, Newcastle.
No, Dominic Solanke. Oh, yes, I'm thinking of Dominic Solanke or Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, sorry, man.
Calvert-Lewin.
DCL.
Yes,
Dominic
yes,
Kevin.
yes.
I said Dominic Solanke instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton. Plays Leicester, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton. 5 of his next 6 fixtures scored 2 or less on the FDR. And he's in the losing performances. He's been one of the
standout players,
obviously, next to Dwight McNeil.
I saw the combo. It's actually working very well.
So, buy our keeper. But I think he's sitting at 5.9 million now. With those fixtures coming up. And surely Everton must get a result sometime.
Personally, for me, I would say avoid.
Avoid, not even a monitor with those fixtures.
There's no monitor. Avoid to monitor. We're avoiding to monitor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that we're discarding him completely. It's an avoid, and specifically for this game week, I would say avoid for this game week, even if it means rolling a transfer. You want to at least observe, see exactly how is this Watkins, playtime going to be if you possess a Watkins, given the fact that now they're playing in the Champions League. I'm not sure. I didn't see the starting 11 for Aston Villa, and how Unai is going to handle that or manage the players come the weekend. We have Isak. Having sold Watkins and seen what he did, it always reminds me of one of the most common issues that as managers we face, right? You go for 2 games, you start doubting.
Recency bias.
And then you sell a player.
They call it recency bias. Like
and
Khabib wins a couple of matches.
Yeah.
Now everyone says he's the greatest of all time. You forget John Jones has all the records when it comes to titles. Why? Because you last saw him the best.
Correct.
See Haaland, Mbappe doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
You think they're better than the likes of Drogba, Ruud van Nistelrooy, your Raúls and whatnot. Because why? This is what you're seeing now.
Exactly. That's precisely exactly what it is. So now, if you're in my position, you just took a -8, got rid of Watkins, he comes back, he rewards managers that were loyal, and I have Isak, who blanked, and now, yes, he has a triangle, and I think just to...
But why did you keep... Oh, you told me the budget was
yes,
not
the budget.
allowed.
I had to decide between the 2, and Watkins was the only one that's going to allow me to squeeze in all the players, because I'm currently sitting on 0.0, but I managed to bring in João Pedro, bring in Salah, and bring in Dunk. Dunk did return, Salah didn't, but it's a long-term investment. I'm not planning on getting rid of Salah anytime soon, and I'm happy with João Pedro because he's also promising. But if you're sitting in my position, the only alternative, or rather the only option that I have, is to get rid of Isak. But again, based on what happened when I got rid of Watkins, I'd prefer to avoid. Even if I'm rolling my transfer, monitor, see exactly how my team is going to perform, specifically my forwards, because I'm considering Dominic Calvert-Lewin. See if he is still going to also consistently perform for Everton.
Because he's been an injury concern, obviously, for the past couple of seasons.
So that's my decision.
I'm wild carding at the end of this game.
Yeah, it's locked.
Just to let everybody
Is it locked?
know.
Is it locked, or are these mind games? I know we like playing mind games.
No. I'm coming direct.
So
end of this game week, I'm wild carding, so I'm gonna pick the best team, or at least I'm not gonna roll my transfer. I'm gonna use it to see.
I think you need it. You cannot afford to roll a transfer. You're in a very tight situation.
Exactly. So I'm not in any position to be hoarding transfers and holding on to them as if
you have all the time.
I've got like endless amount of time.
Yeah.
So
you are not the jokers. You're not Raul sitting at the summit of our main league. But we need to move on, given the interests of time. Fixtures that are upcoming, and in these fixtures, I also want you to be shortlisting captain candidates for this coming game week. The first one that I want to start with, I think it's a no-brainer. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. I think that's a very good fixture, both on paper and also from a manager's perspective.
After the stubbornness Bournemouth displayed against Chelsea this past game.
Yes. But
actually, my friend, how did you get past how did you sneak past the fact that we never spoke about Liverpool losing to Nottingham Forest?
No, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, and you enjoyed it. But you just want to go back.
55 years. Did I mention that?
You missed the 45 years.
55 years.
55, but we spoke about we spoke about my enemies were celebrating. I'm aware of that.
Okay, now let's continue. No, so, I just wanted to remind you.
Liverpool versus Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Let's quickly talk about that fixture, and also if Salah is a candidate. Again, we cannot just have seen Salah perform the way that he did and think he can completely be discarded.
No, of course not.
Going into this fixture, it's a good fixture in terms of FDR for managers. Quickly, if we can just quickly touch on that one before we move on to the next fixture.
Yeah, no, of course, number one captaincy pick at the moment, Mohamed Salah playing Bournemouth at home, I believe.
Yes.
Bournemouth were very stubborn against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Very stubborn against Everton when they came back from 2-0 down.
Yes.
To win 3-2.
Correct.
So, hey, they're not a walkover by any means.
Yeah.
But if they can concede 2 goals to the worst team in football, Everton, at the moment, that is, don't hate me, Everton fan, but if they can concede 2 goals to Everton, and if Arne Slot can come back, like last night I took an L, but tonight I bounce back. Like Big Sean. If they can bounce back like Big Sean.
Yeah, hopefully you're not talking about tonight's L. There's no L tonight.
You can take an L tonight. Doesn't really serve me that much. But if they can, but no, actually you should win or draw at least.
Yeah.
So that they can bounce back properly against Bournemouth over the weekend. So obviously Salah favourite for captaincy.
Yeah.
Liverpool obviously favourite for the fixture at Anfield. It's gonna be passing, I'm sure. And they need to redeem themselves. They can't afford to not take 3 points.
All right. Another selected fixture here: Spurs versus Brentford. Spurs. I do not know really what to expect. I would expect them to bounce back. I thought they played very well against
They were
Arsenal.
very unlucky to lose that game.
The opening 75 minutes, until I think they were brilliant.
If you see the stats at the end of the game, I think they had 64% possession.
They dominated.
236 Arsenal. When have we ever known Arsenal in the last 2 years to have less than 50% possession or even less than 40? They had 36% possession. Spurs had like 17 shots, 8 on target to Arsenal's 3 shots on target.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even the passing, they passed the ball twice as much as Arsenal. When have you ever known a team to outpass Arsenal in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Arsenal were very, very lucky to win that game.
So, on a possible captaincy, if those that do have him. Speaking of forwards, again, the likes of Solanke, should managers bring him in? But we know that they're playing Brentford, who are also just
Brentford have been difficult, but Johan Wissa got an injury. Seems like he'll be out for a couple of months.
Correct.
And I think like Pep said, excuse me, he has never played, and I don't know how true this is or not, because he played Real Madrid, he played Liverpool, he's played Chelsea, he's played Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
He's played, I can't even mention Arsenal because they haven't even won a Champions League. But yeah, he's played some of the top teams in Europe. And he said he's never had a more difficult 30 minutes in his career than he did against Brentford this past game week.
So what does that mean for managers? What does that mean for managers?
That means a lot. I mean, if Pep Guardiola is going to say that about a Brentford side that doesn't even have an Ivan Toney and say that's the toughest 30 minutes he as a manager has had with the team, and he should have been 3-0 down in the first 30 minutes, then that says a lot. I mean, even if you look at the numbers, Brentford this season have created the tied fifth most chances with Chelsea. Only beaten by Man City, who have 13. Brentford have 12 with Chelsea 12. Manchester United, who have been cooking. I'll give them that props.
We said 14, let Tanner cook. Let's give 14, him a contract extension.
14 big chances in their last 4 for fixtures. So, like I said, Bruno Fernandes unlucky to return.
Yeah.
He did get an assist, if I'm not mistaken, this past game week as well. And then Aston Villa says a lot about Ollie Watkins. And you shipping him out have created 16 big chances in the last 4. And then Liverpool lead it with 17, which also is encouraging for the game against
That's
Bournemouth.
why I took him out
At home.
Yeah. So, moving on, last fixture quickly before we finish, we wrap up this segment. Man City versus Arsenal. That is the fixture, the fixture of the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll personally admit that I removed my captaincy from Haaland just in case. Just in case I probably.
You think are you willing to captain Haaland against Arsenal?
No, I removed my captaincy from Haaland.
But you're saying just in case, as if you're about to, you might give it back before the end of.
No. It was on Haaland, so I'm removing it just in case I miss the deadline. Just in case.
Yeah.
Rookie mistakes. Shaky warrior business. But just in case, because I feel like Arsenal, Arteta and Pep. Oh man, there's definitely. I don't see Haaland scoring so many goals. Not against the Arsenal defense.
Gabriel and Saliba looking solid there with Ben White, the Raya.
Timber seeming as if he's starting to integrate.
Exactly. And
I think Rice will be back.
Like a cat.
Rice will be back. Odegaard is gonna be back.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a tough fixture.
Strong Arsenal.
Arsenal, we know, as history have shown, Mikel Arteta always plays for the draw, for the 0-0 draw against his predecessor, against his former boss, former gaffer. So I don't see many goals in this game, but if there's someone who could open it up, it's Erling Haaland.
That's true.
So I can never put anything past him. Like I put these 4 past game weeks past him, and like I'm literally my worst start ever since I started playing FPL. This is by far my worst start. So yeah, I can't put it past Haaland, but I think it's gonna be a tight game.
Yeah, no, agreed. So captaincy, Salah is the best candidate, and then vice captain probably Haaland, just in case Salah pulls out of the fixture.
No, of course, but unless something happens to him tonight, which I doubt.
Yeah,
I don't see Salah missing
all right,
that game over the weekend, having to make amends for his missed passes and his lackluster performance over the weekend. Out here looking like Gabriel Martinelli.
All right, we need to move on. As we said, time is definitely against us. Yes, some time flies when you're having so much fun. But quickly looking into our mini league before we come and wrap up this episode. We see that on the summit, or rather at the summit, Raul is still leading the Jokers, sitting on 316 points, followed by Kyle, Shelby Company, also cementing that position and not being shaken, 292 points. And then third, our very own Woody.
Woody
seats on third.
What? Shout out, Mr.
London Reds on 20.
No, Woody Dabishi.
Yeah, Dabishi.
Oh, shout out, Khutma. Hey, I was shocked. No, but Woody.
What are you saying? Why are you undermining managers now?
That man once needed 2 leagues, 2 teams to try and beat me, and he still failed. Woody Dabishi.
FIFA is also corrupt, so FPL also has to be corrupt.
But shout out to him. He's been coming since last season. Since last season, I think he even finished in the top 10.
Yeah,
he was very competitive.
Yeah.
This season,
he started very strong.
I'm in another league with him. He's looking
first appearance, by the way, first appearance in our mini league. So do look out for Woody, London Reds, sitting in third position.
This choice in team, though.
It's very interesting. Very interesting, but it will be a conversation. Maybe we'll bring him on the pod. Maybe we can bring him on the pod, have a chat, nice. Pick his brain, see how his managerial style is.
And I wonder how long he's been playing, actually, because he's got some expert moves there.
Right.
Like, I went into his team, actually, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
He had Sanchez. I was like, wait, when did he decide to bring Sanchez?
Had it not been Sanchez in there, I would have covered so much ground in our other parallel.
He had Diaz the last 2 game weeks. I'm like, everyone went for Jota or Salah and forgot about Diaz. he's been cooking.
So Woody, just look at your inbox there. We could be just giving you hitting you with an invite to come on the pod. But Mario, we need to close as time is against us. So I think, as usual, first and foremost, vote of thanks to our audience, our followers, the guys that have always been with us since we started with this. And being on YouTube, we are seeing that the channel is growing, the views are growing. So we appreciate that. Please keep going with, just liking, subscribing, speaking of the show. And we really, really appreciate that. It goes a long way. Hit the bell. Just put it on repeat. It goes a long way.
It's a like.
It's a like. Yeah.
All of
that. So, big shout out to you guys, and we will never stop echoing our appreciation. And do remember to subscribe to all the platforms that we have. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Wherever. Your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, what is this? Spotify, we're there. So make sure to check us out. As we said, we're growing, we're investing in this. As you see, there's a whole team here. And we were bringing big things this season. But do remember, as we close, that the deadline is on the 21st, 21st of September at midday. So make sure that your team is sorted, your bench is sorted, you have made all your transfers. It's the title is won right now. I know Mario tends to disagree, but the title is won right now.
Won in September.
So make sure that you collect those points.
Remember Kaizer Chiefs, ne? There's a local team here in South Africa called Kaizer Chiefs. These guys were once on top of the league for 15 months. 15 months, my friend. We're not talking about August, September. They went December, January, February. May even passed. They were still on top of the league. And they lost it, my friend. And they lost it. So don't ever tell me a league is won in September.
I tried giving you guys hope. But make sure to remember the deadlines, guys. The emphasis is on the deadline. Make sure you set your teams, you get your transfers right, and start collecting those points, because there could be the difference in winning the title. But Mario, in closing quickly.
You heard from me the numbers, the fixtures, the FDRs, the statistics, big chances created. You know me, I'm a numbers man. So that's why I always say one thing and one thing only, Katru. Men lie, women lie, but numbers never lie, baby. And don't miss the deadline.
Numbers never lie. So that is it from us. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. We out.
Peace.